So this morning I'm off to southern Minnesota to get a new box for my pickup. Bought this pickup new in '07, and the salt and the winters here in Minnesota have taken their toll. And you can see there I've got some pretty good rust going here. And it actually extends down underneath that fender flare. I put those fender flares on a few years ago to try to hide some of the rust that had started. I sanded it and primed it, but it just came back. So it's time to put a different box on here. So I'll be making a run down there to pick that up today. And I'll take my little trailer along, and I made up some cribbing to support that box when I haul it back. So I just put some angle irons on some 6x6s, and the angle iron is designed to keep that in place so it doesn't slide back and forth. So I've got a couple of those, and I've got some 4x4s, and between all of that and some ratchet straps, should be able to secure it. So I'm on my way. Alright, we're all secured for the trip home. I'm actually down near Rochester, so it'll take me a while to get back. But that's not going anywhere. Well, here it is. We made it back safely. So I'm just going to go through this. There are some dings and dents, some things to fix on this, but it's not rusty, so it's much better than what we had. Probably the worst of it is right here. There's a pretty good dimple right there. If you can see that with the light. I'll try to push that back out, but I can certainly live with it. And yeah, got a little bit here, some scratches that I can clean up. See a little road rash on the bottom. Looks like this corner had been fixed up a little bit. They must have bent that, and I can see another hole there. I can weld those up and grind those, and most of that's hidden by the bumper, so no big deal there either. Lots of scratches. The bed rails looks like they've taken a beating. I think what I'll do is get caps to cover those. He actually gave me a little bit off because he hadn't really gotten a good look at those, so he gave me a little bit of an allowance to buy those caps. And then this one had a gooseneck connection in it for a fifth wheel. So I think what I'm going to do is cut a section of the floor out of the old bed that's on the truck right now and patch it in here. Try my hand at welding. I'm gonna have to grind off. This has got a bed liner too, so I'm gonna have to grind off the bed liner. So I've got something to weld to, but I'm gonna give that a shot. So here's my rust-free bed. The price was right, and so I'll film a little bit more in the next few weeks if I find time to start working on this. So I cleaned the box up this morning just to get a little better look at it and start putting together a plan of what I need to do before I can actually mount it on my truck. So we'll just kind of walk through. We got a spot down on the corner here that's been repaired once with some weld, and it's probably fine right there as it is, but I'll probably clean that up and get some paint on it. There's a spot right around here that looks like it must have got pinched, and there's actually an opening there, so I think I'm gonna weld that up and then just get some paint over that. A couple other things I had seen here, just little nits, but this had actually been notched and bent up. So I bent it back in place, and I'll run a little bead of weld there. Got some mounting holes in the wheel well. Probably had something to do with that fifth wheel mount. So I'll plug those. There's a dent right here where the paint was. You can see the paint's been busted loose. I may take a shot at pounding that back into place. I'll just take a look on the other side. What I don't want to do is break loose the bed liner. I may just grind that and shoot some primer over it, and then I'll paint the wheel wells. Let's see. Somewhere along the way, I don't know why they would have done this, but it looks like someone took a Sawzall to this. You can see a little seam there, some scratches along the bed, didn't go through. And then when we get down here again, there's a seam, and in fact right here there's a seam. So again, I may just run a little bit of weld just to put that back together. There's another spot right at the bottom of this wheel well that's been cracked, must have been pushed up and cracked. So what I'll do is probably drill a hole there to stop the crack and then weld that up. And then, I think I showed you this earlier, but just the undersides of these fenders are in tough shape, so I think I'll probably do what I can to grind those off, and then I'll put some real heavy undercoating there to protect that. And then the last and biggest job here is to fill this hole. So I'll probably cut a matching section out of the old bed, and that would pretty much go just on the outside of this, and we'll include this cross brace. This runs across the whole center of the truck of the bed, and it looks like they just cut it out there when they put the fifth wheel mount in there. But I'd like to put that back together so that it's got as much support as possible. So that's, oh, and then I showed you this earlier. These bed rails are in really tough shape. This truck lived a hard life, I think, before the bed came off. But I'll get rail caps for that. You'll never see it. And then one other thing I noticed. Yeah, this was a diesel truck. So fortunately, that won't be a problem. This plate will just come out, and the one that's in my current truck will go right in its place. So that's it. I'm excited to get started on this.